522 to 549. The issue will open for subscription on 11th of December and it will close on 13th December. Anchor bidding will be concluded one day prior on 10th December. Total issue size is 30,426 million, comprising of a primary fundraise component of 9,500 million, with a secondary component of 38 million shares aggregating to 20,926 million.
We have been the fastest growing CRO CDMO in the last few years, growing at 30% CAGR and 50% EBITDA multiple. We are probably one of the, I would say, the most prominent CDMOs in the last few years globally in terms of working on innovative molecules and discovery operation, both for large pharmaceutical companies as well as development companies, smaller biotechs, which sell their products to large pharma. So we're involved in the entire discovery of new drugs from idea to commercial manufacturing. And so we are been really working very close with these customers for the last 5-10 years. We have very long relationships with these customers. And the last few years, they've really expanded the number of services they do with us, as well as the number of projects they do with us. And that really reflects in the growth we've seen. And most importantly, if you look at our pipeline, since 2020, since COVID happened, everybody started diversifying from China plus one strategy. We've been significant benefactors of China plus one. We've added almost 15 late-stage commercial products from China in the last 3 years. And all these products will really grow in the next 5-10 years, all new products, patented products. So these will grow pretty aggressively in the next 5-10 years, so we have very good pipeline visibility. We have really created competitive advantages in most areas we operate in, be it our discovery services, development or commercial manufacturing services. There's nobody in India today which does all three services at this point.
With respect to the revenue and the EBITDA CAGR, I mentioned this about 30% growth on revenue and 50% growth in EBITDA. What I want to kind of also add to the slide is the fact that we grew 90% on the EBITDA CAGR in the first half if you compare H1 of 24 with H1 of 25. That's not in the chart, but I think the numbers that we presented in the document kind of show that data. If you actually look at how the numbers panned out, if I take the trailing 12 months, if I take the last 1 year starting October 23 to September 24, the EBITDA margins kind of trend closer to 25%. That's the status in terms of how the margins have improved over the last 2-3 years. This is just a quick summary of 3 different pieces, which is revenue, EBITDA and PAT. I think if you look at where the revenue is, and I'll focus on the first 2 charts because I said this business globally is looked at from an EBITDA perspective. I think PAT is just, I'll come back to the PAT separately. I think if you look at the revenue, we've had 2 broad businesses. One is what we call discovery business, the other one is what is called as the development and manufacturing business, or the CRO and the CDMO pieces. The CRO business is around 1/3 of the total revenue, the CDMO business is around 2/3 of the total revenue. On the first, if you look at the first half, we've continued to remain at the same, we're around 57-43 in terms of percentage, but it will broadly remain the same. If you look at the EBITDA, what we've done, we were around 131 crores of EBITDA in fiscal 22. That has actually moved up to around 300 crores in fiscal 24. In terms of percentages, I think fiscal 24 closed at around 21% for the entire fiscal 24. First half of fiscal 25 has shown a EBITDA of 21%. That's a 90% growth, in terms of CAGR from the previous half. Now, if I really compute the trailing 12 months, as I mentioned, we are around at 25% EBITDA. So EBITDA is growing faster, and that's been the focus in terms of restoring the margins. I think the next point that we want to kind of bring to you is actually the PAT. I think if you look at where we are, I think we did a 28 crore PAT in first half as compared to a loss of 13 crores in the prior half. I think one of the significant things that had happened starting the second half of last year is actually a lot of the projects that got tech transferred from China into India started commercial manufacturing. And now layer in the fact that I mentioned this in the first point that we're going to utilize the funds. What Amrita brought in terms of the total issue size, 730 crores of the total 950 crores we are raising primary is going to reduce the debt, which would actually make our debt very, very insignificant. If you look at debt as a percentage of revenue for fiscal 24, we're roughly around 5.5% to 6% of the total revenue. So now, once the debt reduces, my PAT will correspondingly increase less, of course, assuming taxes will take 25% out of that, but then the balance number will come back and net the PAT. So this will be a significant contributor once interest costs come down.